I'm looking at the overall structure of the hair and drawing the boundaries of the hair, as if I'm drawing the hair like they are a large form of some kind, like some 3D shape. And the ratio and proportions isn't super important with hair as it is with other features of the face. And here I'm just adding some charcoals down. Now the point of here, it doesn't really matter how you do it, but you want a charcoal that's very easily blendable and very easily manipulated by eraser later on. So in my blending video, you can see that the soft compressed charcoal is great for this job. And ideally, you put the charcoals down, and well, not ideally, but you should put the charcoals down in the same darkness or tone that matches the hair. But you should put the charcoals down in a way, especially look, you can see on the screen, that in a way where I'm actually mimicking strands of hair, but I'm not drawing details. This is just me putting charcoal down for them to be blended. This is not absolutely necessary, but it does help a lot when you add in the details of the blending later on of adding highlights. So each line is following the flow and strength of hair. And now I'm just blending as some finger just moving across. And you can tell how dark things get when I blend with my fingers, because charcoal itself that I put down is very, very heavy. And now my blending both pushes the charcoal into the paper and distributes them around the paper. So they become really, really dark without you have to put any more charcoal on there. And here's the most important part, is what to do to create those highlights. You must use, at least in my style, those hard cube rubber erasers with really, really sharp edge. And then, like I mentioned, you add highlights to this 3D structure by simply drawing lines that mimics highlights. As you can see, they naturally mimics highlights. This is one of the most powerful methods. It's the heart of the method and what makes it so easy and powerful, right? And you can tweak it, the highlight, by the way, after you put down the first time. It's not a big deal if you make mistakes or anything. You can smudge part of the drawing with your finger, and any part you smudge becomes lighter. And then you can just do the highlights again. And now it really seems complicated. You have different type of hair, strands of highlights. Some are darker, some are medium, some are lighter, some are barely you can barely see. And it really just adds all these elements required for realism, but in minutes, right? Now I'm just putting cherry on top by adding some details in stray hair, right? The small details, that spiky hair that comes out, some of the stray hair. I think it demonstrates the movement of the hand, which you can, make sure you watch the video in how to hold your pencil. That's in this module also. And on the right, now I'm just doing the demonstration again with something slightly more complicated, but exactly the same concept and process. Although you can draw princess hair, no problem. Alright, so the shape overall, don't think, oh my god, it's so complicated than the first one. No, it's not. Just shape is slightly more complicated, that's all. If you see it as just one giant area of shape, right? Then it's not complicated. And then as all like the first one, I'm just putting down charcoals to be blended. I didn't even care what direction of the charcoal I'm putting down apparently, but again, if you're using very, very soft charcoal, compressed charcoal, it doesn't really matter because you are so easily able to create those highlights with hard rubber eraser, a sharp edge of the hard rubber eraser. And then I'm sure I'm just gonna blend it any second now. Yep. And notice when I'm blending, ideally your fingers move also towards the direction of you follow the direction of the flow of the hair, although that is not absolutely necessary. I didn't do that for this drawing. But if you're using charcoal that is not very soft, you probably want to do that. And again, bring out the cube eraser, the hard rubber eraser, using one of the very sharp edges. You can even use your knife just to cut the eraser cube. If it became dull, just cut off the surface and it becomes sharp again. And now I'm using that sharp edge to simply do a few random, well, not even random, just following the hair and see where the highlights are, and just follow the same flow of the hair. That's the only thing you need to really focus on, where the highlight is and what is the flow of highlights, how it goes from A to B, right? Any part. And as you did do that, you can see how naturally it just start to look very realistic without doing much at all. It probably takes me, if I wasn't talking in the video, it probably would take me 20 seconds to do all these highlights. And it looks a lot more complex than the process we're using to achieve this. I'm sure now I think I'm gonna tweak the highlights. Yeah, I would. Even years ago I would do that. And now, because not all highlights are the same, remember? There are highlights that's really, really bright, and there are same highlights or strands of hair that is medium and some are dark. And you can use your pencil or you can use your finger or whatever to adjust them. Make them darker, reuse the eraser to make them lighter, and so on. And as you can see at this point, I have done most part of the hair and it looks realistic. I'm probably doing some even more fine-tuning at this moment. Really, you can look at reference and see which part of the hair is even darker and simply just go over it with a pencil or a compressed charcoal or even your finger sometimes. Just blending is enough. Once the overall drawing looks like the drawing, the reference already, now you put cherry on top by adding all these stray hairs and little details on the side, and the whole thing connects back to the main drawing and just give it that super realistic, well, not super, but very, very realistic look. When you are not doing that much work at all. Like if I show this drawing right now to someone, they probably think that it took a while. It's a complex looking thing. It's a complex looking imagery, even though it took us probably 10 minutes or something like that. Anyway, if you have any questions, go to my communities and post them under questions. And if a lot of people are having similar issues, I'll probably make another video to clarify them. Other than that, I hope this video has been very effective in conveying how easy and the process of drawing hair is with my particular method and style. Thanks guys, and on to the next video.